Yeah. We get lit, we get fly, we get drunk, we get high, but to the masses, we a podcast called Verified. I'm your host. I am JopauL. We are brought to you by Radio Pushers and ResultsAndNoHype.com. We got a very special guest right now. I mean, shit. His name means love God. I mean, he's got to be special. So, I mean, it's my boy Amadeus, the producer, drummer extraordinaire. I mean, he's got a super talented resume. I mean, from being a drummer for Trey songs, for making, songs for J-Lo, Justin Bieber, Jim Jones, The Game. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, without further ado, my man Amadeus. I've been following you for a really long time, so I'm really glad we got a chance to chop it up. And man, I just want to get into, who you are as a person rather than, the other interviews that you've done. I mean, I could be generic, like, what got you into music? Who inspired you? And I will ask those questions, but this is more like a therapy session, more conversation, more chilling, like if we were like, just sitting on my couch, macking, blowing out a few wells, just talking about some music. So, I'm glad you took the time to be with us. And first and foremost, how are you doing in this pandemic? Because I feel like nowadays people don't really check on each other's well-being mentally. Everyone's just like, yeah, what are you doing? What kind of music you got? What kind of lane are you going in? What movement are you doing when you're going on tour? So how are you and the family holding up mentally in this global pandemic of fucking chaos?
Right, and thanks for asking, man. Because like you said, a lot of people are not sensitive to the times that we're in. At the end of the day, we're human beings, each and every single one of us. So it's definitely been challenging times. Everything has changed, not for just myself, but for everyone. But, life is not the same. We haven't been able to tour. We haven't been able to, I haven't been able to perform at my residency, which is Drais Nightclub in Las Vegas. Shout out to you.
It's so fun. I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but, just to, put some context behind that. So last night, so we're I don't know when I'm going to drop this, but we're still in a global pandemic. And I assume when I drop this, we still will be. So,
right.
So one of the shows that I watched, is, Pauly D's Double Shot at Love. Yeah. Call me corny, but
nah, not at all. Not at all.
Plus one of my homies is good friends with the kid, Brandon. So, so it's like, now there's an incentive to watch it. So I'm watching it and I'm lit, now it's like, I don't know what time it was, maybe like 11 or 12 o'clock at night. And I'm watching it, cause I have it DVR'd, and I'm watching it all, and I'm smoking. I'm like, is that Amadeus? I was like, because they were at Dre's, so I videoed, I sent it to you. So that was
that was awesome.
That was fate. That was fate right there.
Right.
He works in mysterious ways. I don't know who he is or whatever, but
yes, he is. Yes, he does. So yeah, man. So it's funny that you got to see that and witness me performing alongside Pauly D. So prior to the pandemic, I have residency there. So every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will perform there at the nightclub, at Drais Nightclub. So yeah, man, it's crazy.
That's a fucked up bag to be taken away during the pandemic.
Yo, who you telling? Who are you telling? Talking about consistent work. So shout out to the entire Drais family. Everybody's been affected, not just myself, but everyone. So I appreciate you even taking time before we start to ask about my well-being. I'm pretty good. I'm in pretty good spirits now. Last few weeks has been pretty tough and challenging for me mentally because, I was just explaining, like, think about it. You remove me from doing what I love to do and what I've been doing for the past 19 years. And
not to mention what you have to do,
right?
Because it's not like these lights pay themselves. Not
exactly.
Like, listen, even if you own your house free and clean, you still got taxes on the motherfucker. You still gotta eat. You still gotta put some gas in the car.
Right. Yeah. So imagine.
You gotta buy that GI Joe with the kung fu grip.
Right.
Arm shit.
So you get it. So imagine just taking that away from me and say, well, just sit around, figure life out until this is all over. And that takes a toll, you know what I mean? It's how I provide for myself and for my family, my loved ones. And, it's caused myself and everyone else who's on the music side of things to kind of figure other ways out and figure things out. And I've never been one to put all my eggs in one basket. I produce, I tour with Trey, I have the residency at Drais, I teach at colleges. but a lot of that, entails of me being in the spaces of others, in large crowds and on all of those different things. And when none of those things are, we're not able to do those things, what do you do? So thank you for asking. I'm in much better spirits right now.
It's crazy too, because the mental aspect of it, I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's like, so people like us that are in the entertainment world, that that's our living, that's our job, that's what we do, and that's kind of what we're used to. So now take out the physical aspect of it, and now we got to stay inside. Like, people don't realize how trying that is. So it's fucked up out there. And let me give you a warning. We might have a celebrity a celebrity secret co-host that might or might not join. I'm not sure if he's available. I'm not sure. There's two, actually. I'm not sure if she's available. They were available yesterday, but
gotcha.
We know what happened with the cars. We don't know. But anyway, let's dive into it before I get an alert, that they jump in. So I know you were born in the Bronx. What part of the Bronx were you born in?
169th Washington Avenue. 1309 is the building. Yeah, South Bronx. South
Bronx.
Yeah,
South,
man.
South Bronx.
You know what it is. That's what
Where
raised me, man.
Started.
Yes, sir. So growing up was real. It was very different, very real, very challenging. My parents tried to have the kung fu grip on me, sent me to Catholic school all my life.
What'd your parents do?
So my mom was a teacher.
Okay. And my mom too. Much love and respect for them.
Yes, absolutely. My mom was a teacher, and my dad was a banker, so he worked on Wall Street. Yeah. So I got to kind of see both sides of things from the hustler standpoint in regards to my father, and then the whole teacher and school aspect dynamic in regards to my mom. So that was growing, how it was growing up for me. Now, unfortunately, my mom, I remember us going on a bus trip, and was it us? No, I think she had one on a bus trip with some other family members, and they got into an accident, and she got injured really bad and wasn't able to return to work after the accident. So she became a stay-home mom. You know what I mean?
That's rough, because I know from my mom, being a teacher, it's like, only certain people are really meant to teach. You have to have a certain love and passion for it. So, through, following you, I can only imagine, the passion that you have, was instilled by your mom. So I can only imagine, how trying that probably was for her to, after giving back, and like feeding these kids knowledge for years, all of a sudden being taken out of that, realm. That was probably rough right there.
Yeah, definitely rough. And I love how you mentioned passion, because she's definitely passionate about it, because I can't even I don't want to give her age away, but she's up there. She looks great. She's doing great. And she's teaching right now at this moment. She went back to school, got higher education that allowed her to have a higher position in the school system. Yeah, I'm very, very proud of her, man, because, for an adult that has kids that are all grown up, for them to return back to school in these times, it's very challenging. You know what I mean?
That's
so,
that's
she's not into the computers and the technology, and she had to learn and figure it out. And she made her way. So shouts out to Mom Dukes, man, for stepping it up and doing what she needs to do, man. But yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Mama Dukes. Make sure you share this with her. Be like, listen, we were talking about it.
Absolutely.
And now, were they from the Bronx as well, or?
Yes,
both.
Were your parents? Yeah, they actually grew up. They actually grew up where I was raised. So as kids, they grew up in the same neighborhood.
They might have known my pops, because my father, was born in the Bronx. He was somewhere off the Grand Concourse. I was talking to him earlier, and his memory's slipping a tiny bit. He's still sharp as hell, but he's like, I need to look at my birth certificate to see the address that we put in there. So shout out to Mama Dukes and Papa Dukes.
Yes, sir.
So talk to me about your upbringing. Describe to me elementary school Amadeus, before Amadeus was Amadeus, when it was just Antoine Thompson, and you're just coming into yourself. Describe to me how, you fell in love with music and what led you down that path.
Love that question. So, for me growing up at home, every Saturday was cleanup day. You couldn't do nothing until the house, was clean. No going outside, no playing with toys, none of that, right? And with that being said, every Saturday, my mom and dad rotated on who got to play music that day for the cleanup day.
Okay.
So that was kind of the introduction and the exposure that I was able to have to
Who
all genres of music.
Who had the better quality music? Come on. Mom would do
So here's the thing. Mom's was more into like the hip hop. So she was Grandmaster Flash, Africa Bambaataa,
okay.
Curtis Blow, Melly Mel, Grandmaster Caz vibe. And she did the gospel. So she kind of was back and forth with that, but real hip hopped out. But from that, other age, my dad was kind of a dude where he loved everything. So he's Marvin Gaye, the Bee Gees, Bee Gees, Chic. He's like, did you hear the bass line? Did you hear the drums? Like, he was definitely into live instrumentation. So it was kind of like the best of both worlds because they both enjoyed different things, and I just happened to fall in love with hip hop. So moving along, again, earlier in the interview, I mentioned me going to Catholic school, right? So in that Catholic school, we were able to learn musical instruments. The instrument that I selected was drums. Never touched drums in life, never had any love for it, any passion for it, but sat down in the...
You know what? That was a good choice coming from your area in the Bronx, because if you would have picked up like a fiddle or a flute or like a piccolo or a violin, they might have looked at you sideways. So drums or guitar, is definitely... So good choice, my brother. Good
masculine.
choice.
Masculine. I think masculine, and me being from where I'm from in the hood, I definitely wasn't going with nothing else.
Right. It's percussion.
Right.
Just remember that. It's not drums, percussion.
I love it. So yeah,
put that enunciation on just to, just like, even with the snarl like this, percussionist. What up? Actually, you know what's funny? Have you ever seen the movie That Thing You Do? With Tom Hanks?
No.
Okay. Well, quick little story about it. So the drummer puts the sunglasses on, and somebody asked him, be like this, why do you have sunglasses on? I am the drummer. Like that, like he's the superstar. So I can respect that. Okay, so you picked up the percussion and yeah, continue.
So I picked up the percussion and noticed that I was able to emulate everything that the teacher did. So every beat pattern he played, I was able to play. Now, mind you, like I said, I never touched drumsticks, never touched the drum set, never touched any musical instrument in life. But for some reason, it was kind of like, yo, man, it looks like you've been here before.
That music touched you on cleaning day, so it was already instilled in you. You were getting subconscious teachings, right there in your subliminal, and you didn't even know it.
Right, that is true. And the rest was history, man. Fell in love with the drums. Really dedicated myself to the art of it and to really learning the fundamentals of it, and wanting to become a professional in regards to musicianship and a drummer. Obviously, drums has everything to do with beats. So it was kind of like the cheat code once I decided that I wanted to be a record producer, because drums and beats has everything to do with creating tracks. So yeah, man, I decided that at about 15, 16 years old. Really, like I said, devoted myself, never looked back, believed in myself, worked my ass off, and here I am today.
Did you ever want to go to like Juilliard or or any of the schools like that, like to get like that level, like like symphony orchestra, style?
Yeah, I wanted to go to LaGuardia actually.
Okay.
And I
don't know why my brain just had a fart.
No. I mean, you named some great schools. You named some great schools, man. And I remember filling out the application and getting accepted. And part of being accepted, you had to kind of come in and read and perform various pieces.
That was so slick how she just snuck right behind
my baby girl.
Yo, shout baby girl. That was slick, like a little ninja, right?
Yo, just I felt it come out. But so yeah, man, and I kind of was a musician that was really hands-on, and I played from ear. So I didn't know how to read, and I started out with reading once I started in 4th grade, but after they learned what I was capable of doing, it was just like, screw with reading, man. Just play. Just do you.
Listen, I think me and you could definitely sit down with some lawyer, because I think we have a lawsuit on our hands. I think there's a movie that stole your life and basically turned it into a movie, and now he's running wild and out, in charge of a whole big gigantic empire. It sounds like the movie Drumline right there. If I ever heard it. Damn. Shit.
Yo.
So, but if you go through that lawsuit, I only want 10%. All right.
That is classic. I love it. I love it. So yeah, man, and that's kind of how it all, you know, started and went down for me. Now, what I do want to mention is the church aspect, which was very important to me. It's kind of where I got, I call it the sauce, the spice.
Don't I know it? Did you
seasoning?
Did you play drums for the church? Okay.
Yes. So I played drums in church.
I respect that. My ex-producer, I hate calling him ex-producer. He's still my boy. He gets paid like serious money to play.
Oh, no.
I mean, I don't even want to blow his spot up, but I mean, he gets a nice bag, you know, for playing in the church, and he's like, I remember one story, like, I mean, talented brother like you. I walk into a studio session and he's playing, and I'm recording him, and then all of a sudden, without even missing a beat, he's playing on the piano. He comes and he starts playing with one hand. He's like, "You see, I'm fucking playing right now, right?" I was just like, "Holy shit!" So go ahead. So you played in your church?
Yeah, played in church, and like I said, that's where all of the seasoning.
Yeah, shout to Don Juan, by the way.
Nice.
I didn't even shout him out.
Nice. Shout out to him, man. Yeah, and just life-changing, my brother. Just life-changing where, you know, one thing about church is that you're free. It's freedom. It's no rules, no law, you know, whatever you feel you play, you know, and that's kind of how I was able to get that seasoning and that sauce that I got. And I want to take a moment to, you know, show love and pay homage to and give my respects to my pastor, my bishop, who actually recently passed away.
Oh, rest in peace. God bless, man.
So absolutely, Bishop Michelle White, who I remember like if it was yesterday when I walked into her office as a kid, you know, as a percussionist saying, "Hey, I want to play. I would like to play at church." And there wasn't even a slot for me, and she made and created a slot for me to give me an opportunity, you know, to play at her church. And again, you know, I owe her so much, man. I owe her so much for opening that door and just being a blessing.
Of your story. I do. And if I remember correctly, because I did my due diligence.
Okay.
Now, wasn't her son the head lead percussion? So you didn't even have a spot until he moved to another position.
Yes.
And then it was like, whoa.
Super on point. Super on point. Mind you, listen, when I saw him play, and his name is Steve Suit White. Shout out to my big brother, Steve Suit White. When I saw him play for the first time, that was when I decided that I wanted to be a professional drummer. Like, because, you know, in school, the drummer, the teacher is showing me all of these jazz drummers, right? Which are amazing and they sound amazing. I'm like, cool. But it wasn't until I saw someone who looked like me, who represented what I represented, who was from where I'm from. And I'm like, yo, I can sound like that if I apply myself, if I practice, if I rehearse. And he was the main factor in like, okay, I'm gonna take this seriously. I'm gonna focus up. I'm gonna be a drummer one day. One day I'm gonna sound like him, man. So shout out to him and his mom, you know, for creating opportunity for me and pushing me into, you know, my greatness as a musician. You know what I mean? And as a producer as well, man. So I definitely have to pay homage to her. And I love that you're on point. You've always been on point. And I love, you know, the interviews I've seen you done in the past, which is why I'm like, absolutely, we got to make this happen because you know what you're doing. You know, you do your research, you know, you study, you're on point. You ain't just, you know, pulling up a camera and just rolling. Like, you know, you really show love and do your due diligence. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you acknowledging that. And I just feel, and it's something that I'll say, it's like, you know, despite, you know, I mean, I know you've noticed, you know, I'm white, obviously, you know, in a culture, you know, of hip hop where, you know, I've been in it since 1996.
Wow.
So it's I love this shit. I live and breathe this shit. Like I was breakdancing to fucking Ice-T records on cardboard boxes with my twin brother, you know, across the street in like 82, 83. Like, you know,
wow.
I mean, it was you want to hear something funny? It was an Ice-T. So coincidentally, I was in a rap group with Ice-T called Sex, Money, and Guns, with Smooth the Hustler and Trigger the Game.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking about them, I was speaking to Smooth before, and he let me know that him and Trig definitely looking for a beat from you for the new S&G album. So
wow,
we're putting it all together now. So I'll make sure to link y'all up.
Absolutely.
But me and my twin brother were running around the house, saying the N-word as like 7-year-olds. And that's when my parents sat us down to make us watch Roots and be like, that's why you can never say that word. So
Powerful.
yeah,
Shout out to your parents, man, for educating you. You know what I mean? It's like you can't get in trouble because you don't, you shouldn't be getting in trouble because you don't know. You know what I mean?
right.
But it's like after you know, and after you know what it is and what the culture is and the reasoning behind it and how degrading that word is, you know what I mean? And I know, as a culture, we use it amongst ourselves as brothers and as friends, but there's an other side of it.
But for us to use it, it's just blatant disrespect. And even though, Smooth and Trig allowed me to, say that word, it's like I still really never really say that word. I've never had a song with it or anything like
And
that.
I respect that, my brother.
Yeah, maybe like a drunk freestyle when I was like 17, 18 years old. But the whole point what I'm trying to make is like I live and breathe this hip hop culture, and I feel like it's a part of my blood and veins, and the reason why I've been able to sustain 20 plus years in it. I'm gonna hold that authenticity that I hold dear to my heart, and not try to rape the culture when I feel like I kind of helped build it. So
Gotcha. Yes, sir.
So that's just now. So you're 15, 16 years old. You decide you want to be a professional drummer. You're working hard at it. What's your next step? What's like your break that you attribute like that next level success? Like, oh shit, they're taking me seriously now.
Right.
So I need to take myself seriously. So,
right.
So guide me through that point.
Right. I feel like, because, and this is, mind you, because 15, 16 year old, I'm making beats. I'm in my home little studio, my own little keyboards, doing my own thing, just years and years of building a catalog. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then finally, my family, he was actually family through marriage, starts working for Interscope Records. His name is Joe Thompson. Shout out to my cousin Joe. And he's working for Anton Marchand. And Anton Marchand is Foxy Brown's brother. I didn't know that at the time, but, I'm just kind of giving giving everyone information that's tuned in, right? So
now, so at this time, is Foxy Brown, or is she still?
Yeah, no, she's Foxy Brown. Like, she's out, a few albums out on that belt. She's on.
I remember when her name was AKA before.
Wow. No,
I think it was even Smooth that gave her that name, but I'm not sure. So don't hold me to it. Don't put me on actually put me on the shade room. I need some promotion. Fuck that.
That's classic. Yeah, man. So I went down. I think he had City High at the time, and a few other artists that he was working on. The beats that I was making was just straight raw, just straight hip hop, boom bap samples. And he's like, "Yo, these are really dope, but it doesn't fit the artist I'm currently working on here at Interscope." And he's like, "But these would be perfect for my sister." So I'm like, "Who's your sister?" He's like, "Foxy." I'm like, "Foxy who?" Like, "Foxy Brown." I'm like, "Nah." He's like, "Bro, that's my sister. That's my baby sister." And he's like, "She's going to be at Chung King." And I know you know Chung King. He's like, "She's going to be at Chung King Studios tonight at 7. Pull up."
I did my listening party there.
Wow.
Like, I don't know, like maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. That shit was epic. That was cool. But
I
they didn't
love
allow
Chung
me.
King.
But they didn't let me smoke in this. I was fucking pissed. I like to smoke wherever I go. But I wasn't that big of a celebrity. I doubt I'm that big of a celebrity now. But I like to smoke wherever I go because this is
right.
hip-hop.
Right.
So I like.
And they didn't let you.
System.
And they didn't let you.
Nah, they didn't let me.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
So Foxy was at Chung King.
Yeah, she was at Chung King, and he's like, make sure you play her the same beats you played me, because joints is crazy, right? So I get there, load in the CD, and just played the heat, and she loved it, man. She picked, a few joints out that she loved. Was like, let me live with these. I left that night. I remember leaving that night mad hype. Like, yo, that was Foxy Brown. She loves my beats. It's crazy. Next day came, got a phone call.
I love that feeling where you just slayed it. Like, I mean, literally.
Like, and when you did it right.
Status. Walking the street like I got a fucking 13-inch dick. Why? Trust me, I know that. I know that. Yeah.
Yo, so next day I get a call, and they're like, "Yo, Foxy did 2 records last night. Joints came out crazy to your beats. One record is a diss record called Get Off Me. She's actually going at Rapid Eve." And I'm like, "What? Wait, what?" So bless you. So then she's like, she actually made another record.
That was a cough. I'm smoking his burner cookies. Whew. Damn, that shit tightens up your fucking throat like they used to fucking grip me up in a fucking headlock when I was in junior high school. Damn. Yeah, continue.
Got you. So yeah, and he was like, they did another record called Cradle to the Grave, and at that time DMX was working on the film and the soundtrack Cradle to the Grave, and he was like, yeah, you got the actual title song.
That was the joint with Aaliyah, right?
Yeah, no. Aaliyah was going blank. It's not the joint with Aaliyah. It was DMX, Gabrielle Union, Jet Li, Anthony Anderson, Dragon, and Cradle to the Grave.
I know exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, and that was kind of how it all went down, man. And that was kind of the start for me, my first two placements. And that was kind of where, how it kind of started for me as a record producer. So that was that moment when I'm like, okay, now I'm on.
I got like a moment in hip hop that pretty classic. Now, Rough Riders is huge at the time now, and they got this badass Philly girl named Eve, and all of a sudden, Funkmaster Flex starts fucking playing this song, dropping bombs left and right, and it's Foxy, and she's going at Eve. For y'all people that don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, this man made that record. What did you feel like when that shit happened? Now, please, were you listening to the radio at the time? Did you know that he was gonna play it? And this is before like cell phones, really. If you had the cell phone, it was like one of those big joints, but we were still on the beepers,
right?
And payphones. For y'all little youngsters, you don't know the struggle. When you beep somebody, you had to wait for them at that phone until they got to a phone and then
called you back.
Y'all don't fucking know.
Classic.
Struggle over privileged motherfuckers. So did you know that it was going to be played?
Yeah, I didn't know it was going to be played. I didn't know.
The little snake.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know what it entailed, right? So I didn't know how hard she went at Eve.
You didn't hear the final record?
No.
Oh, so she was the snake. So she didn't send it to the actual producer. She just sent it.
Yo, I heard it when everybody else heard it.
That's hip hop, right?
It was crazy, bro. I mean, I remember being in the car and Flex, I got this record. Foxy Brown, she's going crazy on Eve. It's disrespectful, dropping bombs. He dropped that joint, and I was in there like. So it was a mixed emotion of being excited because I'm hearing my joint on the radio, right? But then the other side of the emotion was me being scared to death because I'm like, yo, now am I in this beef? Like, am I kind of caught up smack dab in the middle of this beef between Foxy, and not only Foxy and Eve, but Foxy and Rough Rider, because they're going to, support their team member. They're going to, for First Lady.
Now, are you more worried on a physical violence side or on the side of like, oh shit, that's Swiss, so as a producer now that's coming up, Swiss is one of the biggest. It's like Swiss, it's Just Blaze, it's Jermaine Dupri, it's Dre, and Puff. And now, I mean, it's other ones too, and I'm so sorry if I'm
no, you're right.
People out, but in interest of saving time, it's about Amadeus right now. Y'all had your shine. So, or was it more on like the musical side, like, oh shit, like I'm a producer, I'm neutral, I need to work with everybody.
That's where exactly how I felt. It was more of a musical. I didn't fear anything or feel like it would come back in any way for me on a real beef level. For me, it was like, oh, you made that beat. All right,
that's the Bronx in you right there. That's the Bronx. I ain't scared of no.
Nah, I was more so afraid of not being able to work with even Rough Riders because of the fact that that track was mine. And I remember, a few of the OGs at that time. Shout out to Buck Wild, producer, big brother Buck Wild, and was like, nah, man, when you make beats, like, it's the artists that kind of go on and write their records, record their records in the booth and do what they do, say what they say. That don't have nothing to do with you as the producer. You didn't write it, you made the beat. You know what I'm saying? You inspired them in a way to write what they wrote, but it's not your fault. Like, you know what I mean? And I kind of learned in that moment, that was the right information. And then it kind of turned into more of an enjoyable moment of me like, oh, wow, this is crazy, man. I'm on High 97. going crazy right now, you know. And that was so the Get Off Me record dropped before the Cradle to the Grave joint, and then after the Get Off Me record dropped, Cradle to the Grave movie came out, and the song was featured in the film, in the movie, and on the soundtrack. So that was the defining moment for me, where I was like, okay, now you on. Where do you go from here?
Now, here's a personal question. You can, choose to not answer it. Now, because that was your first, placement within the industry and on a notable level, Hot 97 and then Cradle to the Grave, did you get a bag from it, or did they fuck you out of it because it was your first placement? Did they say, I get you on the next one?
Right. So
as hip hop usually did back in the mid to late 90s, they tried to fuck everybody.
Right.
So,
you know what? The Get Off Me record was kind of, to me, a throwout record, like a record where it's like, all right, I made this record. I'm not selling it. Like, you can't find it on iTunes or, it ain't out for you to buy. It was just kind of a joint she just did, throw it out there for the streets. You know what I mean? So, me being from the Bronx and knowing and appreciating and respecting the streets, it was like a record where it's just for the streets. This is for the mixtapes. Flex played on the radio because it was such a big record, and what she was saying was so ill. It's like it deserved, to be recognized in that way. But it was for the game. It was for the streets, man. But the Cradle to the Grave was more from a professional aspect, and that was, I got paid for that. That situation was a little challenging because Foxy's other brother, Gavin, was a part of that. And he was kind of who she created with in the studio, hands-on. And I remember opening up the CD after buying it from FYE just to see my name in the credits. I remember seeing his name in the credits and mine. And I kind of like threw me off because I'm like, why is his name here? Like, what is he doing?
Right.
Saying he's a producer when that wasn't the case. So that was an issue. Learned, and I'm brand new in the game, so I'm glad you asked this question. Learned that he had took half of the producer fee from Def Jam at the time, because Foxy was signed to Def Jam.
Okay.
So, if Foxy signed to Def Jam, this is her brother, this is a creative partner, you know what I mean?
What year is this?
Jeez, this got to be like 2000, early 2000.
Shit, I wish I could like fucking cue in like Rob Love like right now, so I could be like, yo, Rob, listen, break this down.
Right.
Why did he take the? Listen, if he probably had a good reason. Listen, I don't want to start nothing. I'm new to this podcast world. I ain't trying to start no drama. I know y'all some real motherfuckers. I said I haven't held a gun in years, so please, y'all don't know my address, so go ahead. So you saw his name there.
Yeah, I saw his name there and was just like, and mind you, I'm new. I'm brand spanking new, new to the game. So I wasn't sure whether it was kind of like me having to pay dues or, I wasn't in the studio when he recorded the record with her. So it could have been that dynamic of him actually working hands-on and being a part of the recording process. So I'm thinking all of these different things, trying to figure out from a positive lens, why this happened.
How can I justify not bugging out right now and just going with the flow, and
right.
I'll get him on the next one. I got this little bag. I'm brand new. Let me earn my stripes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's how I took it. That's how I took it.
I'm from the Bronx, but I'm not a street dude. I could jam my drumstick, in this dude's fucking nostril and feel over it. It's a different story. But so all right. So
that's how that went.
So what kept you from flipping or from kind of going ham?
It's a bigger picture, man. It's a bigger picture, and I was young enough to kind of have that mentality where, it's an opportunity. I didn't have to have that opportunity. My name is on there. I did get paid the other half of that.
That's a good upbringing right there. So shout out to Mama Dukes and Papa Dukes again.
And it put me on the map. It put me on the map. So instead of allowing it to be a negative thing, I charged it to the game. Just spoke to Foxy maybe about a few weekends ago, wishing her a happy birthday. I have no issues. I have no animosity. I feel no way. I feel great, actually, when you think about it, because
I love Foxy. I had a huge crush on her back in the day.
Yo, me too.
Oh my
me
God.
too.
Yeah,
me too.
And she's like probably probably one of the greatest
Oh
females
no, absolutely, hands down.
to ever spit. Like, I mean, if there's a top 10 of females and Foxy's name is
She's
not
on
there,
there.
then you do not know fucking hip hop,
Right.
So
I agree.
shout out to Foxy Brown, and I'm still waiting for a new album.
Yeah, I told her, I was like, "What's up, man? Where we at? We going with new Amadeus? I mean, because you think that record was over 20 years old. It's over 20 years ago. So if you was loving what we were creating back then, imagine what we'll do now.
We're getting old, Stallion. Oh man, it's a shame we got to get older.
Yeah.
Damn, but good times, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I'm glad that you're here. So, we can, plug these pivotal parts in history and give the proper respect and, sort of like Drink Champs, give the flowers, to you while you're here.
Right.
So whereas I'm nowhere near as big as Drink Champs, shout out to,
man, I appreciate you and your platform, man.
I feel like coming up in this game of hip hop, I need to give my flowers to, somebody that has, some real part of the foundation of a lot of the shit that, that we know today. I mean, I see credit wise, it's like, I feel like would Chris Brown beat Chris Brown without all the tracks that he got? I know he puts out albums with like 40 songs,
right?
Shit like that. But I see that, when reading your discography, I was like, I'm sick of seeing Chris Brown's name. It's like, damn. It's like, holy shit. And it's like, so, because we can go into all the people that you work with. So
right.
let's get into the juicy shit. Who was the most difficult person to work with? And now, I don't know if you have, like, keep in mind, like, my viewership is not that huge yet. So
it's popping though.
Thank you. Hopefully it gets bigger, but it's not that big yet. So you could divulge who it is. They're probably not going to see it for a while, and by then you'll probably squash it. So who was the most difficult person for you to work with?
I'll say this. I'll change the word from difficult to
creative differences.
Maybe challenging or kind of pushes you to the limit. And I'll say Puff.
I wanted you to be drinking so you could back this. I hate Justin Bieber. He pissed me off in the studio. But go ahead. Who is the most challenging?
Puff is hands down one of the illest and most creative geniuses I've ever been able to witness and to work alongside. Like,
he's a mad scientist. He's not human.
Not at all. Not at all. He knows what he wants and won't stop until he get it. Like, I've witnessed it myself.
I can switch to Ciroc anytime. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a beast, bro. Like,
well, I mean, he's a giant. So it's like I never got to work with anyone, of his stature. Anyone of that stature at all. So it's like, but I have had friends that have worked, alongside Puff. And have business dealings with him. And the one thing that they say is he's overly super methodically careful with everything that he does, super calculated. And he's, like you said, he's a beast. So anyone of that sort of creative sort of genius is going to be difficult to work with, especially because they got so much credentials behind them. They got so much money behind them. They got so. What was one instance that you were like, damn, I wish it wasn't fucking illegal to fucking smack Puff in his face right now?
I've never felt that way, but...
Shout out to Revolt, though. Shout out to Ciroc. Love him.
I watched him mix a song from, I forgot. Well, I got to watch him mix a bunch of records, but he was mixing songs from Press Play album, but then also, actually, it was Last Train to Paris. We're in L.A., We're actually filming, making his band. When we was doing a show on MTV, we're making his band. And later that night, he was in the studio mixing the record. And I remember pulling up.
Making the band. Shout out to Babs.
Yes. And I pulled up. He's in there. He's recording. No, this is two different sessions. Okay, let me narrow in to his mix session. Shout out to Jason Joshua, incredible recording engineer, mix engineer. He's mixed a ton of our favorite records. And he's in there, and Puff is like, he's at the board. And Puff is like right here. Okay. And he's telling them the whole time, like, all right, change this, like turn that up right there. But nah, I didn't hear you turn it up right there. You got to turn it up right there. All right, change this, like move that knob right there. I bring these down. And to the point where he looked at him was just like, yo, I got this, bro. Like, I got this, bro. But he's just really meticulous and like really hands-on and hears everything. Like something like a little itty bitty off or something is a tad too loud or too low. And he's like, yeah, but you didn't turn up the snare right there. And I'm like, how did you even hear that, bro? Like,
He's not human. He's not human.
He's something else.
He's like Quincy Jones, like superhuman,
right.
On that level. So, so moving through your career, so who was your favorite person to work with? And don't take the fucking easy route and say fucking Trey Songz just because you fucking working with him now and he's providing the bag. Shout out to Trey Songz though, by the way. You know what I'm saying? If you ever need an interview on the Verified podcast, we get millions of
yes you do. Yes, you do.
That haven't happened yet. But
speaking into existence.
I promise.
Speaking into existence, man. That's right.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? But we're here. So who's your favorite person?
I'm gonna tell you. Let me see. From two different lenses, right? So, obviously I tour with Trey as his music director and tour drummer. So I would have to give that to him on that side of things from a musicianship, from me being with him the longest and the most. Yeah,
music director is a tough job. Same person I was talking about before, Don Juan. He was the music director for Flow Rider. So,
man. So yeah.
Yes, yeah. He told me, don't get me wrong, he's super professional and knows, and like he's a genius for music too. He's a fucking he produced my whole last album.
Wow.
Which, yeah. Unfortunately, for some reason, it got taken off of Spotify because of some distribution deal that with I don't even want to call out the names of them, but there's some sort of class action suit that's going on because all of us lost our fucking everything from there. But bottom line is, as a music director, he told me, what a challenging job that is.
It's crazy.
So, I appreciate that you don't got like gray hairs, by now.
Oh, they're here. So, they're here. But it's our job to pretty much, for those that are not aware of what a music director job is, it's our job to take.
Please educate them because you guys don't get enough credit nowadays because of social media. Now it's like, oh shit, those are the behind the scene people that were in the credits because we don't get CDs anymore, so we can't read that shit. But now people can know, and I feel like it's important that people, respect, the music directors, the people that are kind of behind the scenes that make the artist who the fuck they are. So, from an artist, to a behind the scenes person.
Right.
I salute you.
Yes, sir. No, it is. And again, our job is to take everything musically, like all of the songs, the albums, and basically create an amazing show and an amazing experience for their fans to enjoy when they come see their favorite artists live. So every aspect of it, from what songs we're performing, how long we're performing them, the song order, the set list, making sure that we're on time in regards to the shows, in time, the mixing of the shows, how good everything sounds, Trey being able to hear himself, the communication between Trey and the band. Like there's a lot that goes into it that a lot of people are not aware of. They think they just, pay their hard-earned money, buy their tickets, come see the show, it's taken us months, to put that 1 hour and a half show together to create an amazing experience, man. So from that lens, I would say, I spent the most time with him. I've been able to watch him grow as an artist, as a man, and it's been great to see and great to be a part of his journey and his destiny in regards to him and his artistry. So from that lens, from live music, from a musicianship, I would say Trey Songz. From a production aspect, I would have to say, Chris Brown, because it's probably the artist I've created the most records with. As you mentioned, when you go through my discography, we, produced a record on the Indigo album, produced 9 on A Heartbreak on a Full Moon. He's a writer as well. So the J-Lo record, same girl.
Flaunt your shit. Go ahead. Listen, listen. This is hip hop. We're allowed to state our accomplishments. Go ahead. Later.
Right.
And and plus, you mentioned Chris Brown, so I see that's why you're wearing red. So let me not say anything disrespectful. I love all my bloods out there. Respect. Never had a problem with you. I mean, listen, I love the color red. I'll never wear it around you. I love you guys. Appreciate you.
That is a lot. And I'm neutral, by the way. I am nothing. I am just, I'm neutral. I'm not a part of any associations, none of that. Just so we're clear.
In high school, I was friends with Nietas, Zulu, La Familia, Bloods, Crips. I mean, even like the stupid gangs that never like got like, anywhere, like I was just friendly with all of them because they knew that I was the kid, that rapped or, that smoked mad weed. It was like, it's like, why we hate him? Like my high school was infamous for having a race riot, and I had to be neutral because it was like, I'm not gonna, it's like I'm friends with, everyone, and it's not like this isn't like the 50s, where it's like, these blacks are in our neighborhood. It's like, I'm Jewish, so it's like I've been hated on, just as much as my black and brown brothers. So it's
right, that's real.
I gotta say, it's like, you know what? I'm gonna leave school when I know that there's fighting. I'm gonna grab a girl. I'm going to my house. My mom's teacher. She's at school, so I'm gonna go do some things as a 15-year-old, smoke some weed, play with a little piss puss, and fucking get back to fucking business. You know what I'm saying?
That is classic. But yeah, Chris, man, he we got a lot of records together, and he's a dope creative. Gave me a chance, and I had a pretty decent resume. Once we started working about 9 years ago. But yeah, he just allows the music to speak, man. He don't care who made it, who did it, where it came from, what the person looked like that made it. If he feels the record, he feels the track, he just goes with it, man. So definitely shout out to Brown.
Such a showman too. Like, I mean, in every, you could see it in, I never, had the pleasure of meeting, Mr. Chris Breezy, but shout out to Chris Breezy, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I'll let you for it. Like I said, I love the Bloods. His showmanship in his videos, from his facial expressions to the way, his charisma, with whatever character he's interacting with, while performing the track. He's super, super talented. Like, I mean, I feel like I wish that thing with Rihanna almost never happened because it was like, I feel like that almost like stunted him from the superstardom that I know that he, like, almost like Michael Jackson type of superstardom, and I feel like it's still there because he don't put out whack music.
Right.
He puts out fucking, I mean his albums are filled with like 40 or 50 fucking songs, and I can't get to them. I don't know why you do that. Just fucking break them up a little bit, or do like a listening party. Let's break them down to 20 with some skits and some snippets. But super talented dude. So the fact that you were able to touch so many of these, different great ones, what is next for you? What's your future goals and plans in life? And I want to get to, the Music 101 college because I love the idea, but I want to talk more about, you directly. It's like, where do you see yourself? You see yourself more like stepping back a little bit, maybe, like doing your own thing behind the scenes, or you still want to be out there in the forefront on tour with Trey and doing your thing?
Love that question. It's a great question. And it's funny because, if you would have asked me that a few months ago, I would have probably had a different answer. So I felt like the pandemic put a lot, a lot in place mentally in regards to anything can happen. Life can change,
I feel like the coronavirus is like the movie Terminator. Like, I feel like they're the Terminator just without, like, you can't see them. They're just like, they're invisible Terminators. And now, we have to like look outside before, and like run the cover.
It sucks, man. That's why we have to live that way. But music will always be my passion. So we'll love to continue with music from a production aspect, even from a musicianship side, as long as I can, as long as it's something that I love and that I'm passionate about. I'm sure I'll continue to do so. But now I'm at the point where, and I've been doing this for the last few years, just making sure that I'm opening up doors for the future and for the people that look like me, not just my skin tone or my complexion, but just look like musicians, people that have that same love and passion, no matter what, the color of their skin is, but just have that same energy and approach and want to be seen and want to be heard. So I just want to open up doors for people to come in and be in the music business and get to love and do what they love to do and create and put music out to the world. So from that aspect, I love teaching. I love educating and inspiring people to be great,
Shout out
to
to
walk in,
Amadeus.
to walk in their greatness, to believe in themselves, believe in their dreams, and to not give up on that. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. You know, and hopefully we'll get back to some sense of normalcy. And you know, it's my bread and butter, man. It's my bread and butter. So you know, I gotta.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of controversy going on out there. I don't even. It's like I want to speak on it, but it's like
Right.
I want to enjoy the rest of my day, and it's like I can't stand how divided we are. I mean, I put out these freestyles because I mean I've been in hip hop my entire life. And like the first lines are land of the free, home of the brave, country founded on racism but built by slaves. My timeline keeps reading, cops killing blacks on 10 straight days, protest police brutality like Kent State days. So it's like it's so hard to like even watch the news anymore, and how people have politicized wearing a fucking mask to keep people safe. Like it's insane. I literally want to kill people. Don't tell anybody, and you people out there, don't tell anybody, but I want to kill some of these fucking people that, literally try to politicize keeping us safe when, especially in the black and brown community, it's literally statistically shown that it affects you guys at a higher percentage rate than of non-black or brown race.
Right.
So it's kind of fucked up, and I know we all want to be outside. I'm sorry I'm cursing because I see your daughter.
No, but I'm in the headphones. We good.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I said fudge cookies. That's what we're talking about. I appreciate
that, man.
I said eat shaving cream, you son of a bagel. So yeah, it's kind of depressing out there, and I feel somebody said that I need to desensitize myself from everything that's going on out there. And I would never ask you your political views or anything like that, but if you could speak, to the people, of the times right now, just in case this is like a time capsule, what would you tell the people that are listening with regards to how they should act moving forward until there's a real plausible, safe vaccine out there?
Right. And I agree with you, man. I agree with you 100%. I feel like, I'm very careful. I've always been very careful, and I'm sure that has to do with my upbringing. My parents being so overprotective of me. So I kind of have developed that in my own way. And I'm not going to lie, at the beginning of the year, I was like, why is everybody wearing masks? Y'all doing too much. And I remember going to Vegas for Drais and like, I'm not wearing no mask, whatever. And then kind of seeing it getting real. And then I had made one more trip to Vegas. And I remember that time I just kind of took it seriously. I masked up. I had my Kleenex, my Clorox, and I had my Lysol. And I got to the hotel and sprayed everything down and wiped everything down. And I just was kind of locked into what's going on, right? Got back that week and got an email from Drais like, yeah, we don't know what's really going on. We're going to shut down for a month, see what's going on. And, that was in March. And, after that, we seen the NBA shut down and all sports and the whole Las Vegas Strip. And it just got real. So with that being said, I'm not playing no games, man. I'm not playing no games. I feel this virus attacks everyone in a different way. And I don't even want to take the chance of seeing if I have within me what it takes to beat it. I'm not taking that chance. You know what I'm saying?
I'm getting up there in age. I don't want to.
I'm cool,
that.
Bro.
Listen, I remember those nights when I was like in my 20s when I fucking, sniffed a fucking mound of cocaine and I can't breathe. I don't want to do that on a regular basis where I'm like, So I don't. I've locked myself down. Check this out. My boys, a couple of my boys now, not my boys anymore for some reason. They chose a demon sperm lady beliefs over mine, which is fucking crazy. They made a skit about the coronavirus in like late January where they literally saran wrapped their entire bodies, and it got on World Star. When I saw that, I was like, they might be onto something. I literally locked myself down like the end of February.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Before this shit started. So since March 3rd.
Me too.
I've literally been like a fucking hermit in here. The only place that I even go is to my parents' house. And the fucked up thing is, it's like, even like I've been basically celibate this whole time. But if I, when I'm not, I have to wait 2 weeks before I can go see my parents just to make sure. Because I don't even want to go get a test and get that shit shoved up my nose and touch my brain. I need my brain cells. I smoke a lot of weed. Whatever's up there, I don't want them to poke the last one out. And all of a sudden, I'm a vegetable. And I'm like, who inspired you to do music?
You are hilarious. Now, you're so right, man. I'm not playing no games. Like, it took me a while because my son lives with his mom. It took me months to see my son. Like, to me be comfortable, to like even be in anybody's presence, anyone outside of my own home.
Because you don't know.
You don't know, bro. You don't know.
Right? It's like back in high school when you were like, yo, I wonder, did she really sleep with them? Or it's like, can I go raw on this bitch? And then, then all of a sudden, like you make that decision, and then 10 days later, you're at the clinic and you're like, oh, fuck, doc. Fucking burns like fucking fire. Like fire's coming out of my dick. Like, oh, burn. No, fire is coming out of my dick. So, yeah, basically that means make the right decision so you don't know, so I'm sorry to turn that into like a funny moment, but I'm sure that was kind of traumatic, to not see your son for so long. Just my parents, they couldn't see me or their grandkids, and like my mother would cry behind the mask and she'd go crazy. That's why when people politicize this, they're prolonging the problem.
Right.
And people like you and me, we can't get back to normalcy if you guys keep acting up.
Right. That's true. That's true.
Talk to me about the first day when you got to see your son.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie.
If you want to get the Kleenex, because I know it might be careful.
Yo, I bawled. I mean, I cried like a baby on the way, like driving to get him. I cried like a baby, and I'm not afraid or ashamed to say it. I'm a very emotional king.
Yo, real men cry.
Real talk.
You females out there, we sensitive and respectful.
Yo, I cried so hard, man, and I saw him, and mind you, it was probably about 2 or 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. Saw him. He's a lot taller. Voice is all crazy and deep, and I just held him, man. And I held him and took him home with me, and he stayed with me for about a month. And I really enjoyed it, man. But like you said, let's all take heed to what's going on. We don't really know everything that's going on. We don't really fully understand what's going on. All we know is how to protect ourselves. And I think everybody needs to take it seriously, because even if you're in A1 top shape, it's others that you have to be mindful of. It's your parents, it's your kids, it's your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, or people that, maybe your loved ones that are not capable of beating this virus. And imagine
it's the people that have not gone to the doctor and have no idea because they don't feel sick, but they might have some underlying condition that they're unaware of. So it's not you. You might beat it. You might be fucking Superman, but my mom or my dad might not. So you wear a mask to protect my mom and dad. I want them around. You motherfuckers better stop this fucking shit.
Real talk.
Oh my God.
Real talk.
Hashtag I am the vote. Please. Get out.
For real. Please do. And I love how you brought that up. Please, everybody, vote. Please, 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 please vote.
To not vote is to actually cast a vote. I'm not going to get political and tell you what that means.
Right. But yeah, you're right.
You know what the fuck I'm talking about. Come on. Jesus. Man. So I don't want to get sidetracked. And like I said, I want to have a good day, even though I'm lit right now. Shout out to Jack Daniels again for not giving me a check. You know what I'm saying? But I can switch to Bel Air. You know what I'm saying? If you want to hook it up, you know what I'm saying? And that's my smooth segue into, so how'd you get affiliated with Bel Air?
Love that segue. So
I'm good at what I do. I was a lyricist, like slash pimp. You know what I'm saying? This is what we do. We deal with the words. Have the nerve for the motherfucking curve. Do some change, baby.
So yeah, I mean, obviously me touring with Trey was one way for the product and the brand to be supported. But then also me having a residency at Drais. And I met with the Bel Air people at Lil Wayne's. He has the show, the festival he does in New Orleans every year, and he invited Trey to perform. So we came and went and performed, and he had
is that Trunk Fit Festival?
Yes.
I'm not sure if that's the name, but that's
I think the Lil Wayne Festival, something like that. But you're in the same, you're in the right vein. You're in the right vein, and they had like a really dope lounge set up, and so Wayne represents and owns Bumble Rum, and Bumble Rum is under the Bel Air umbrella.
Okay, well, I'll switch to either one of them.
Bumble Rum, McQueen,
if
Violet,
I want to support the
Gin.
podcast, you know what I'm saying? We support a very, very diverse crowd. Could be good. Supply analytics, whatever we got to do. I'll give you 10% on that.
But yeah, that's how that came about, man. It's been great. Shout out to all of the family at Bel Air, Bernier, Sarah, the family over there at Bel Air, and Bumble Rum and McQueen Violet Fog, which is amazing gin. And Wiz Khalifa is the face of McQueen gin. Bumble is Lil Wayne is the face of Bumble, and of course, Rick Ross is the face of Bel Air. So definitely grateful to be a part of the team, man.
Hey, listen, that's awesome, man. You touched a lot of fucking people. You're like the Forrest Gump of like the hip hop world. You've literally been around like everywhere and everyone. So it's like
it's a blessing, man.
It definitely is. I mean, listen, to be able to be sustained. I mean, that's why I love this platform, that I'm able to kind of share my experiences at the same time while learning yours.
Right.
And to be able to maintain, like, at least not fucking killing ourselves, after being in this game for 20 plus years, that says a lot, about who you are, and the love and the passion that you have for this, because this is a dirty game. So people don't think that it's all like glitter and glitz, and it was a lot better back in the day. But this is a dirty game. So be able to sustain yourself during, with the longevity that you have, it's something that deserves a.
I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate you.
I don't need to be sarcastic like that.
No, I appreciate you, man.
I still want to knock the fucking doob off of here, and then all of a sudden it's fucking burning, and I'm like, oh, hey, thanks for joining the Verified Podcast. You see a fire, then we really go viral, and I'm dead, I don't want to do that. I'm too drunk to run right now.
I appreciate the love. I appreciate the roses, man.
So, one thing before I let you go, because I know we're dragging on a little bit. But the last thing I want to do, I want you to share with us one thing, and I know this might be hard because I've seen a lot of interviews and there's a lot of things to cover. But what's one instance in your life that's not documented, that is not? If I Google it and I find out that you're lying, I'm unfollowing you. I'm taking you off my buddy list. What's one thing that's not Googleable about you that you feel like is pivotal in your life decisions that kind of led you down certain paths to where you are today? Give it a second. We are brought to you by Radio ResidencyNoHype.com. We provide great promotional shit. Check us out.
It's a tough one, man.
Any crimes you did, don't indict yourself, please. I don't want to talk about the cops right now. Coronavirus and everything.
I can't say nothing that I've never said. But
what about the time you slept with Foxy Brown? You could talk about that.
No, that's never happened.
Come on, man.
That's never happened.
Man, I wanted a fucking offline conversation about that shit. Foxy Brown, I would never disrespect you at all.
Right.
Me and homie, we know that we are not handsome enough to be with a queen like you. No disrespect at all.
I disagree. I think we are. I think we are handsome enough to deserve a chance.
Yeah, well, I was just saying, just in case you found it disrespectful, she got guns. I'm not trying.
Nah, she cool. Foxy cool. Nah, I mean,
how about this? Instead of telling me one ungoogleable moment, what was your parents' favorite moment in your career where they actually were like, "Oh,
right,
that boy good,"
Right. I like that.
I don't have to worry about him no more. He is exactly where he needs to be.
I like that, man.
Like I saved you right there.
You definitely saved me.
And you're like, fuck.
I think probably when I put down for my crib, because I did it. I was never one to make any announcements. I was never one to broadcast stuff, and this is prior and prior to social media. Like, it wasn't on social media, it wasn't on internet like that. So
right, that was clown shit. That was clown shit back in the day. Now it's
now
like
you got to do it in order to be popping. Yeah.
Now you got to do that. Now
you got to do it.
Like, oh, I got an itch on my eye. Shout out to Brightland for making it so icy. And
now you got to do that. Now you have to.
Yo,
it's like
I'm saying my skull, Swarovski crystal, limited edition. These are years old. I've been wearing it for years. So, but don't tell nobody because we're not that big yet. But yeah.
It's so true, man. So I think that was a moment. I remember moving in and it being popping and all of that and having like a family cookout and everybody just pulling up and it's like, that's where you live at. Like
I'm still waiting to do that for my parents. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like, I mean, I've always been like, and I remember, promising my grandparents when they were still alive. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy you cars and put you in a huge house. And they were like, okay, Joseph, please do, but make sure you finish school,
right,
stuff like that. So that's amazing. So
I think that was
the validation.
I think that was it.
Put that on the house.
When they pulled up to my crib and was like, oh wow, this is what it's what you've gotten yourself. This is where you live, the environment. That's what you're driving. I think that was, and not to make it a materialistic thing, but just from I think your parents.
No, that's a milestone. That's the life milestone right there.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, you've done this off of music and doing something positive with your life and, not harming anyone, not being involved in anything negative that can, jeopardize you in your life. Like, wow, you really became a producer. You really became a musician. You really became a CEO. So I think that was a moment where it was like, okay, he made it. Wow, look at our son. And then, they kind of
great, man,
was a part of, all right, now I see it, because they didn't get it at first. Wasn't really fans of hip hop, our type of hip hop. There wasn't, so it was very difficult.
It was fucking drugs and guns.
It was very difficult.
Back in that day, it was like, power to the people.
Let's have fun, right? Yeah. So they, they frowned upon when I said I wanted to be in, music and hip hop. So it was very difficult for me, man. So
because it wasn't, because I want the people to understand it wasn't a thing yet. Hip hop was still in its very early stages where the culture was changing, where breakdancing, had already adapted to it. But it's like, with the clothing and the culture and skating, it's like it all was in its early development. So it's very hard for our parents to understand what the fuck we're doing in this industry that it doesn't even exist yet. Right. It's not monetizable yet. It's only, a certain select few that are able to do it. So the fact that you can persevere in that, and actually provide that smile to your parents.
Right. It's a blessing, man.
I'm still waiting to provide that smile. They're proud of me. Don't get me wrong.
No, I feel like they are. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But I still got a lot to accomplish that. And it's not me being greedy. That's me knowing that I have much higher goals and I still got more work to do.
I agree.
Whether it's building it myself mentally, physically. I got fucking fat during this fucking pandemic. I'm looking at my stomach. I'm like, damn. I was like, if I was a bitch, I wouldn't want to fuck me. I was like, but I'm doing sit-ups every day. Every day. I'm doing my side squats and everything. But I feel like, there's always room to build. So I'm not done growing just yet. And God willing, I hope that I can continue to grow where my parents see a certain level of success that kind of we expected to see, but haven't seen it yet. So I can only hope for the best.
Yes. And I agree with you, man. It's still so much that I haven't tapped into that I want to do, that I want to accomplish. So, we're always going to be a work in progress. You know what I mean? And I support you and I push you, man, and keep going, man. It ain't, when God says it's time, it's time. You know what I mean? And I think it's about us being ready for when that moment comes. You don't want the time and the moment that you've been working so hard for and praying for to come and you're not ready, so be ready, wait in anticipation as you work, and everything that you're looking to accomplish, man, will happen as long as that you continue to put the work in and be the positive king that you are.
Well, listen, I've sinned so much that God don't want me, and if Satan tries me, he knows that I'll probably fucking run that shit and take it over. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll be spitting hot flames, so he knows my name. But listen, tell everyone where they can find you. Thank you so much for sharing, all of this. I hope we didn't get too personal. I hope I didn't get too good. I hope I didn't like stutter or like fucking, mess up or anything like that.
That was a great conversation, man. It was a great conversation.
Again, I feel good. I'm gonna walk away from this. Call my parents and be like, "Yo, we had the dopest conversation because there's some real shit." I didn't want it to be like, like I said in the beginning, who inspired you?
Right.
Like who is your mentor? So I appreciate that, and
no doubt, man.
Everything that you've done, I feel like is a staple to the hip hop and music community. So, like I said, there's so many people that you've worked with, from the likes of Agnes Mo to
yes, sir.
For you people that don't know who she is, and I know the strength of her. So let me just tell people real fast before I let you go. In Indonesia, she's like the 15-year running, but she's not for the past 15 years, but for like the past years. Like she's like the Britney Spears over there. Like they can't get enough of her.
Facts.
So much so that I did a remix, called Coke Bottle Remix, and literally her fans went fucking nuts. They her people spammed it on YouTube, but it's on Vimeo. So so you guys go check it out. Vimeo, Coke Bottle Remix. JopauL.
Wow.
Like it's in the hundreds of thousands of views, and they love me. They love my fucking ass. So shout out to all my Indonesian fans.
Right. Shout out to Agnes Mo. She's so dope.
So Amadeus is an international star. He's not just he's not just, that local boy from the Bronx, with some drumsticks, that, just made it. You ever assault anyone with drumsticks?
No.
Like Bruce Lee? I mean,
no.
Tell me offline. Because I heard people, I heard you got the skills like that. Like fucking size and shit, like Raphael. But listen, I'm gonna let you go because you've already given me so much of your time. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yes, sir. On Instagram, Amadeus, Amadeus PBM on Instagram. On Twitter, producer Amadeus, producer spelled the regular way, Amadeus, AMADEUS, and that's pretty much the two places where I'm at. Facebook, I'm on there, but I think I'm maxed out, and plus I don't know what I'm doing on there, man. And so if you want to reach out, I think IG will be the best way to touch base with me, man. My brother.
I don't even go on Facebook anymore. It's like I feel like I've outgrown it. I could be stupid because I might be, I know they have like a new monetized platform and stuff like that, and I'm verified on there too. And make sure when you see Amadeus, make sure you look for the blue check, verified. That's why the fuck we're here. Verified, motherfucker.
Hey.
About to start a gang up in here.
Verified gang.
Yeah, no guns though. No guns.
No guns.
Yeah,
just blue checks.
I get mad easy, and I got I've been smoking and done a lot of acids to my fingers. I fuck, shit. All of a sudden, fucking Stabler and fucking Finn come and arrest me for SVU. Shit. But anyway, listen, I appreciate you taking so much time with us.
No doubt, my brother.
If there's anything that I could do to to help you in your success, I should be talking to you, dude. What can you do for me? Seriously, I love what you do. You got a dope vibe.
Thank you, my brother.
I've been following you for years. I love to see your growth from the early days, since I was following you on Twitter, even though I haven't been on Twitter in fucking ages. Right. But I've seen this man's growth. I've seen, you as a person as well as musically. So I salute everything that you've done. And if there's anything I can do to help your progression in the future, by all means, does not hurt to ask. So
my brother, I appreciate that. We locked in now, man. I'm following you back. I should have been followed you. So, but timing is everything.
And listen, you're a famous guy, you know what I'm saying? You're out with, Trey Songz, you know what I'm saying? He out there pissing on bitches, but you know what I'm saying? Like, actually, let me not even talk about that shit. Actually, you know about that shit? Like, have you heard what's going on? It's getting crazy out there right now. I mean, they're consenting to it. Is he R. Kelly, motherfuckers? I mean, is it like, what is it? Like, I mean, are you just like, when you fuck so many thousands of girls, it's just like, there's nothing else to do. I'm gonna pee on you because I've already hung upside down from the chandelier. You know what I'm saying, with 16 girls in a fucking orgy. So what else can we do? I'm guessing I'm peeing.
You are
I don't
a
know.
good joke.
I don't get the feet thing. I don't get the pee thing. I'm into some freaky shit. You know what I'm saying? And you girls are there to shut the fuck up. But let's not even talk about that. Fuck that shit. I love the fact you took so much time with us. And just tell them to stay away from the girls with the loose mouths. That's it. Like they gotta sign NDAs to everyone. Non-disclosures. Okay, addresses and fucking real names involved. But yeah, I want to leave you guys, with a quote. Kind of like a self-made quote. If you guys try to put it on a Hallmark card, I'll sue the fucking shit out of you. Remember, I'm Jewish. I'm about my business. We are all just here for a small cup of coffee. I'm just trying to drink it while it's still hot. This is your boy. I am JopauL. We have been the Verified Podcast. We were chopping it up with Amadeus. We are brought to you by Radio Pushes and Results and No Hype. Peace and love, y'all. I love you.
Peace and love. Blessings.